The rapid strengthening of the Russian Federation in the Arctic haunts the United States. Over the past 12 months alone, Washington has taken quite serious steps to escalate the situation in this strategically important world region. In particular, neglecting the United Nations Convention, Washington unilaterally expanded the boundaries of the continental shelf, stating that these vast territories are the property of the United States. According to Washington, this continental shelf is allegedly a natural continuation of the land territory of the United States. The new territories that the United States has declared its property occupy an area of about 1 million square kilometers. This is twice the size of the state of California. The U.S. decision to expand its own borders in the Arctic region angered both Russia and Canada, as these countries also claim these territories. According to the first deputy chairman of the Federation Council Committee on International Affairs, Vladimir Jabarov, Russia will never recognize the so-called new U.S. territories. According to him, Moscow will firmly defend its interests regarding the ownership of these territories. Vladimir Jabarov noted that Russia has much more rights to these territories than the United States. At the same time, he stressed that the unilateral expansion of borders in the Arctic is unacceptable, as this could lead to the outbreak of a global war. According to Vladimir Jabarov, the United States must respect international laws and, above all, prove the geological affiliation of these territories, as Russia did at the time. However, judging by Washington's actions, the United States is not going to follow international laws on the Arctic issue. After carefully reviewing the new U.S. Arctic strategy, which the Pentagon published this summer, it becomes clear that Washington is ready to defend its interests in the Arctic from a position of strength. Let me remind you that in the last 5 months alone, the United States, together with other NATO members, conducted 3 major military exercises in the Arctic, making it clear to Russia that the West is not going to abandon this strategically important region of the world. Moreover, insiders in Washington claim that Donald Trump is seriously considering buying Greenland and turning this largest island in the world into a powerful fortified area of the United States in the Arctic region. It is reported that at the moment, the United States is exerting enormous pressure on Denmark, so that Copenhagen sells this island to Washington. If Denmark agrees to sell Greenland to the United States, it will be a big problem for Russia's northern fleet. The fact is that the Americans can build numerous military bases in Greenland and, with the help of naval sonar, block the entrance to the world ocean for Russian submarines. In this regard, Vladimir Putin decided to hedge his bets and ordered the construction of 5 new military bases on islands in the northwestern part of the Arctic, including the archipelagos of Franz Josef Land and Novaya Zemlya. In addition, Russia is also conducting secret negotiations with Denmark, trying to convince Copenhagen of the danger of the decision to sell Greenland to the United States. It is reported that only thanks to these negotiations, Denmark is still refusing to sell this island to Washington. According to retired U.S. Army General Daniel Hokanson, the United States has already begun preparing for a possible clash with Russia in the Arctic. At the same time, he noted that climate changes, such as global warming, will only intensify the confrontation between the United States and Russia in the Arctic region. Moreover, it is worth noting that many representatives of the American establishment share the opinion of this retired U.S. Army general. According to them, a collision between the United States and Russia in the Arctic is simply inevitable. A few days ago, U.S. Senator Angus King said that the Arctic, due to the rapid melting of ice, could soon become the center of a global confrontation with Russia, just as the Mediterranean Sea used to be the center of a showdown between states and peoples. Meanwhile, the White House has already begun to develop a new strategy for presence in the Arctic region. Against this background, Russia continues to modernize and create new types of Arctic weapons, making it clear to its so-called Western partners that Moscow is not ready to compromise. Last week, the heavy nuclear-powered missile cruiser Peter the Great of the Northern Fleet entered the Barents Sea, where another military exercise relating to the anti-submarine and anti-aircraft training began. This battlecruiser is the largest nuclear-powered warship in the world. The capacity of this nuclear power installation is such that it could provide electricity and heat to a city of 250,000 people. The crew of this battlecruiser is 744 people and equipped with powerful weapon systems, which, however, will soon be upgraded. Right now, a deep modernization of another heavy nuclear-powered missile cruiser Admiral Nakhimov of the same project is being completed. This modernization led to the birth of essentially a new warship. In the process of modernization, all systems of equipment and weapons were replaced. Now, Admiral Nakhimov has received the opportunity to place Zircon hypersonic missiles, Onyx universal anti-ship missiles, and Caliber cruise missiles on board, which have proven themselves as a high-precision means of destroying ground targets. Admiral Nakhimov also received a modern anti-aircraft missile system of the new generation Redut, with a range of up to 150 kilometers. And the latest universal artillery system AK-130, with a rate of fire of up to 20 to 86 rounds per minute, allows Admiral Nakhimov to hit the sea and coastal targets at a distance of up to 25 kilometers. The battlecruiser also received the opportunity to carry 3 helicopters on board, Ka-27, Ka-29, and Ka-31. It is also worth noting the appearance on Admiral Nakhimov of the latest mine torpedo, anti-submarine weapons, and multiple launch rocket systems. The warship is equipped with the latest radars, digital communication systems, and a powerful onboard computer, capable of independently assessing the situation and predicting the course of the battle. Meanwhile, the Americans are also preparing for a confrontation in the Arctic. And there are good reasons for this. This region is very rich in hydrocarbons, metals, and other resources. However, the basis of the U.S. Navy, consisting of an aircraft carrier strike group, is not adapted to combat operations in the northern latitudes. The United States also doesn't have a nuclear icebreaker fleet. Russia has a great advantage in this regard and seeks to build it up. In addition to modernizing the existing fleet, Russia is also actively building a new one. So, one of the leading enterprises in Russia, Sevmash, is now working in 3 shifts, producing new submarines. The pace of construction of submarines in Russia has reached the indicators of the Soviet era. Russia is also creating fundamentally new types of weapons. For example, such as the new multiple launch rocket system, based on the Arctic all-terrain vehicle DT-30 Vityaz. In Russia, the icebreaking fleet, including civilian ones, is also being dynamically built. All this indicates that Russia is seriously preparing for the upcoming battle for the Arctic region, and no longer intends to repeat the mistakes of the past. Thus, as you can see, Vladimir Putin has created a fairly powerful bridgehead in the Arctic region, giving the next generations quite powerful levers to counter Russia's enemies. In addition, Putin also made it clear to the United States that if Washington does not reverse its decision to expand the boundaries of the continental shelf, Moscow will unilaterally declare the Gakkel Ridge, the Lomonosov Ridge, and the North Pole Zone Russia's property. Well, my dear truth seekers, as you can see, the battle for the Arctic is in full swing. And amid all this, we can only hope that the confrontation of superpowers in this strategically important region of the world will not lead to the outbreak of World War III.